Hey there, fellow deep divers. Before we get started today, I just had a quick favor to ask.
A favor.
Yeah. If you're liking these deep dives, finding them useful, would you mind hitting that subscribe button? And maybe even leaving a comment.
Yeah, we love hearing from you guys.
Your feedback means a lot to us. It really does. It helps us make the show better.
For sure.
And hey, if there's a topic you're really interested in, something you'd love for us to explore, let us know. You might just inspire our next deep dive.
Absolutely. We're always on the lookout for new ideas.
All right, so with that out of the way, let's dive into today's topic.
Okay, sounds good.
.NET Aspire.
.NET Aspire, it's got the development world buzzing,
It really does.
Yeah.
It sounds kind of mysterious, though, right?
It does, yeah.
From what I've been reading, it's like this set of tools
Yeah.
that helps developers build really strong apps.
Yeah.
Cloud-ready applications using .NET.
Exactly. You got it.
Yeah.
It's all about making it easier to build these complex, scalable applications that can handle, well, pretty much anything you throw at them,
Yeah.
And here's the thing. While it works amazingly well with .NET, the core benefits, things like observability, resilience, scalability, manageability, those are goals for any modern application.
Really?
Yeah, regardless of the language you're using.
So it's like setting a new standard.
You could say that, yeah. It's like, here's how we should be building apps in today's world.
A gold standard, almost.
Yeah, exactly. And what's exciting is it's not just theory. The stuff we read for this episode had some really cool examples, from a simple website with a database all the way to massively complex applications, microservices, APIs, even integrations with things like OpenAI.
Wow. Okay, now you got me intrigued.
Yeah.
But let's be real. Why should anyone care about this? What's the big deal with .NET Aspire?
Imagine this. You're a developer, right? And you want to build an app that just works, an app that's reliable, it can handle tons of users, and it's easy to maintain.
Yeah, the dream.
Right. Well, .NET Aspire is like a paved path to get there.
A paved path.
Yeah, it streamlines the entire process. It uses battle-tested methods, best practices. You don't have to reinvent the wheel.
So instead of spending weeks or months trying to put together all these different tools and frameworks, you can just focus on the actual fun stuff.
Exactly. Building cool features, you know?
Solving the actual problems.
Solving problems, exactly. And that means faster development, fewer headaches, and ultimately happier users.
It's a win-win, basically.
Absolutely. A win for the developers, a win for the users.
I'm sold.
Okay.
Let's break down some of those key features that make .NET Aspire so powerful.
Okay, sounds good.
First up, something called service defaults.
Service defaults?
What's the deal with those?
So service defaults, they're like magic for your application.
Magic?
Yeah, no, it sounds crazy. But you know how you always need things like logging and metrics?
Yeah.
Health checks?
Right.
Resilient connections? Service defaults, they automatically add those to your code. You don't even have to write them.
Oh, wait. So instead of me spending hours writing code...
Hours? Yeah.
For this basic stuff, .NET Aspire just takes care of it.
Yeah. It's like having this superpower assistant working in the background. It anticipates your needs and just handles all the tedious but essential stuff.
Okay.
For example, imagine you're building a weather app.
Okay.
Service defaults would automatically add what's called retry logic to your code.
Retry logic?
Yeah. So if the app can't connect to the weather service on the first try, it won't crash. It'll keep trying until it gets the data.
So it doesn't give up easily.
Exactly. It's persistent.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, we've all experienced apps that just crash at the slightest hiccup, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's frustrating.
This makes it much more user-friendly.
Exactly. Reliability is key.
What else?
Okay, there's the .NET Aspire dashboard.
Your dashboard, okay.
Imagine it's like a control panel, where you can see everything that's happening in your app. It gives you these cool visualizations of your logs, your traces, your metrics.
So you can see everything that's going on.
Yeah, you get real-time insights into your app's performance. You can see how it's behaving.
It's like having X-ray vision into your app.
It really is. You can see how users are interacting with it, spot any bottlenecks, diagnose issues before they become major problems.
Like a detective, almost.
Exactly. And there's a story in the stuff we read about how the dashboard helped troubleshoot an error in, you guessed it, a weather app. The developers were able to find the root cause of the problem super quickly, all thanks to the detailed logs and traces from the dashboard.
That's pretty powerful.
Yeah, it's a game changer.
So what other .NET Aspire superpowers are we working with?
All right, let's talk about service discovery.
Service discovery.
It's a crucial feature for modern apps, especially those built with microservices. Basically, it allows different parts of your application to find each other and talk to each other without needing hard-coded addresses. It's like a built-in directory for your app.
So .NET Aspire figures it out for you.
You got it. It handles all those complexities of communication behind the scenes so you can focus on the logic of your app.
And I'm guessing that saves a lot of time.
Tons of time, especially when you're dealing with really complex systems. And it reduces errors, too.
For sure.
Remember that example we read about where the weather website was able to connect with the API service, all thanks to service discovery?
Yeah.
No messy configuration, no headaches, just pure efficiency.
I'm starting to get why people are excited about this. It's like .NET Aspire takes all the hard parts of building complex apps and just makes them easy.
Exactly. It's all about making developers' lives easier so they can build truly amazing things.
Okay, before we move on, I want to talk about one more feature. Integrations.
Integrations, yeah.
From what I understand, .NET Aspire works with a lot of popular services, like Redis, databases, message queues, all that good stuff.
All the good stuff.
How does that even work?
It's all about these pre-built integrations. So .NET Aspire has these connectors that make it super easy to integrate your app with these external systems.
Okay.
You don't have to write tons of custom code. .NET Aspire handles the heavy lifting.
So it's like a universal adapter for your app.
You got it. You can plug it into all these different services without any hassle.
Love it. Remember that example in the source material where they added a Redis cache to the weather API?
Yeah, I remember that.
They were able to make the API much faster.
Faster, more efficient, yeah.
All without having to write a ton of custom code.
Exactly. It's all about working smarter, not harder.
Okay, I think this has been an incredible overview of .NET Aspire. I'm definitely seeing its potential for building amazing applications.
It's powerful stuff.
But there's so much more to explore.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think it's time we dig a little deeper.
Sounds good to me.
All right, in the next part of our deep dive, we're going to go deeper into the benefits of .NET Aspire. And we're going to explore how it tackles things like observability,
Yes.
resilience, scalability,
And manageability.
Stay tuned.
We'll be right back. Welcome back to our deep dive into .NET Aspire.
Okay, so we've covered some of the big features, right?
We have service defaults, the dashboard.
Service discovery, integrations.
Good stuff.
But now I kind of want to understand why those features matter.
Okay, yeah.
Like, what makes .NET Aspire so special? What sets it apart?
It all comes down to those 4 key benefits we keep talking about.
The 4 pillars.
You got it. Observability, resilience, scalability, and manageability. And these aren't just buzzwords. They're like core principles, that can make or break an application. Especially in today's world, everything's cloud-driven.
Okay, so let's start with observability.
Observability, all right.
What does that even mean in the context of .NET Aspire?
So it's all about having a deep understanding of what's going on in your application. How's it performing? Is it healthy?
So it's not just collecting logs and metrics.
No, it's more than that.
It's about actually understanding what that data tells you.
Exactly.
And using it to make decisions.
Precisely. You're basically getting a constant pulse on your application's vital signs.
Oh, I like that analogy.
So you can see what's working well, what needs your attention. You can even spot problems before they become, big issues.
Like preventative maintenance.
Yeah, exactly. And what's great about .NET Aspire is it makes achieving this level of observability way easier than you might think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you don't have to be some monitoring guru to get these insights.
That's good, because I'm definitely not a guru.
Well, none of us are.
You mentioned distributed tracing earlier. That really caught my attention.
Yeah, distributed tracing is cool.
It's like being able to follow the journey of a request.
It is.
Through all the different parts of your application.
It's like a detective following breadcrumbs.
Okay.
But instead of a crime scene, you're investigating the flow of data through your application.
So you can see where things slow down, where they're a bottleneck.
Exactly. You can pinpoint those performance issues.
And .NET Aspire handles all of that for you.
Right. It automatically captures those traces.
So developers don't have to add all that code manually?
No manual tracing. It presents those traces in a visual way, so it's easy to understand.
Super helpful.
Especially for those microservices-based apps where a single user action can trigger a whole chain of requests across multiple services.
Yeah, it gets complicated quickly.
It does, but distributed tracing makes it manageable.
All right, let's move on to resilience.
Yeah.
Another big one.
Resilience.
Building an app that can handle a few users that's one thing.
Right.
But building an app that can handle millions, that's a whole other challenge.
It is, and that's where .NET Aspire's cloud-native approach is really beneficial.
Okay, how so?
So it's designed to take advantage of the scalability and flexibility of the cloud, like Azure, for example. We talked about containerization earlier, remember? And how easy it was to deploy that weather app to Azure Container Apps.
Yeah, it was almost too easy.
It was pretty amazing.
A few commands and boom, it's running in the cloud, ready to scale.
Because .NET Aspire apps can be containerized so easily, they can be scaled up or down super quickly based on demand.
It's like magic.
It's pretty close.
So you don't have to worry about your app crashing if there's a surge in traffic.
Nope. .NET Aspire's got your back.
And you're not wasting money on unnecessary resources when traffic is low.
Exactly. You only pay for what you need.
Perfect. This is sounding better and better.
It's a game changer for sure.
Okay, so we've got observability, we've got resilience, we've got scalability.
What's left?
Manageability. That's the last one, right?
Manageability, yes.
Building the app is one thing.
Right.
But keeping it running smoothly, that's a whole other challenge.
That's where .NET Aspire's focus on best practices and automation comes in. It provides tools and guidance to manage configuration, logging, monitoring, even deployment. It makes it so much easier to keep your app healthy and up to date.
And we talked about that paved path earlier.
The paved path. I love that analogy.
How .NET Aspire guides you towards the best way to do things.
It's like having a roadmap to success.
Exactly. So there's less risk of making mistakes.
Definitely.
It's easier for new developers to join the team.
Yeah, it simplifies the whole process.
And ultimately, it frees everyone up to focus on the more creative parts of software development.
That's the goal.
Instead of battling infrastructure and tooling, developers can spend more time building innovative features and delivering value to users.
Exactly.
Wow, okay. This has been a really insightful look at the core benefits of .NET Aspire.
It's a lot to take in.
It is. I'm starting to see why people are so excited about it. It really does seem like a game changer.
It is.
But we're not done yet.
Not even close.
In the final part of our deep dive,
yes,
we're going to get practical.
Let's do it.
We're going to explore how you can start using .NET Aspire to build incredible things. We'll share resources and practical tips to get you started.
Sounds like a plan.
Stay tuned. Okay, so we've talked about all the amazing features and benefits of .NET Aspire.
We have. It's pretty impressive stuff.
But now let's get practical. How can our listeners actually start using this thing?
Yeah, how do you actually build something with .NET Aspire?
Right, how do you take all this knowledge and turn it into a real-world application?
Well, the good news is getting started with .NET Aspire is easier than you might think.
Really?
Yeah, the resources we looked at, they highlighted a bunch of tools and resources that can help you get going pretty quickly.
Okay, so where do we even begin? What are the first steps?
First things first, you got to make sure you have the right tools.
Makes sense.
You'll need the .NET 8 SDK or a later version.
.NET 8 SDK.
Yep. And if you're using .NET 8 specifically, you'll also need to install the .NET Aspire workload.
So it's like getting your toolbox ready.
Exactly. You need the right tools for the job.
Got it. .NET 8 SDK, .NET Aspire workload. What's next?
So once you have those set up, you can use what are called project templates.
Project templates, okay.
You can find them in Visual Studio or through the .NET CLI.
And what do those do?
They give you a starting point for your application. They take care of a lot of the initial setup and configuration, so you don't have to start from scratch.
Oh, that's helpful.
It's like having a blueprint.
Yeah, I get it.
It guides you through those first steps.
Saves you a lot of time and headaches.
Exactly. And don't forget about the documentation. The Microsoft website has tons of info on .NET Aspire,
right? Detailed
guides, tutorials, even sample code.
So you're not just thrown in the deep end.
No, there's plenty of support available.
Speaking of support, there's also that .NET Aspire learning path on Microsoft Learn.
Oh yeah, Microsoft Learn is fantastic.
Would you recommend that for beginners?
Absolutely. It's a great way to get started. It's structured, it's guided, it walks you through everything step by step.
It's like having a personal tutor.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're someone who learns by doing, definitely check out the sample applications on GitHub.
The .NET Aspire GitHub repo.
Yep, that's the one.
So you can see how real projects are using .NET Aspire.
Exactly. It's really helpful to see how those features are implemented in actual applications.
Okay, that's a great tip. I know a lot of our listeners are probably eager to jump in and start building.
Yeah, I bet.
But they might also be a little intimidated.
It can be overwhelming, I know.
What advice would you give to someone who's just starting out with .NET Aspire?
My biggest piece of advice: don't be afraid to experiment.
Experiment, okay.
.NET Aspire is flexible. You don't have to build some huge, complex application right away.
Start small.
Start small, exactly. Build something simple, something fun, something that interests you.
Yeah, get your feet wet.
Exactly. And then gradually add more features as you learn.
So it's like learning any new skill, you start with the basics.
And you build up from there.
Don't try to do everything at once.
You'll just get overwhelmed. And remember, you're not alone in this. There's a huge .NET Aspire community out there.
That's so important.
It is. There are forums, Discord channels, social media groups.
You can connect with other developers, ask questions.
Yeah, share your experiences.
Get help when you need it.
Exactly. It's like having a whole team of people supporting you.
Love that. Any final words of wisdom for aspiring .NET Aspire developers?
Most importantly, have fun. Building software should be enjoyable.
It should be.
And with .NET Aspire, you have all these amazing tools to help you create something truly incredible.
So embrace the process, explore the possibilities.
And build something awesome.
I love it. Well, that's about it for our deep dive into .NET Aspire.
I can't believe how much we covered.
I know, right? It's been a journey.
But it's just the beginning.
Exactly. The world of .NET Aspire is waiting for you.
Yeah.
Go out there, dive in, unleash your creativity.
And build something extraordinary.
And hey, if you have any questions or topics you'd love for us to explore in a future deep dive, let us know in the comments.
Yeah. We're always looking for new ideas.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
And until next time, keep exploring, keep learning.
And keep diving deep. Right.